If you've ever poured your heart and soul into a creative project, you are going to recognize this story. We're diving into a really tough question today. What do you do when you have to consciously hit pause on something you absolutely love? All right, let's get into it. So it all kicked off with this beautiful, simple idea from a creator named Christopher Edge. He imagined a place where sound could literally paint pictures, where music and stories would come together and create these incredible landscapes just inside your mind. All right, so let's dig into that. Where did this all come from? What exactly was this project, and why was it so special to him? Well, Lyrical Landscapes became this series of short, really intimate episodes. You can think of each one as its own little world, a kind of sound experiment exploring the deep connections between music, our feelings, and even the physical places around us. And for him, the process of making it was just deeply rewarding. Every single script, every careful sound edit, it taught him patience, focus. It was all about that special kind of quiet joy you feel when you're crafting something with real, genuine care. But as anyone with a passion project knows, they often have hidden costs, right? So let's take a look at the flip side, how all this amazing work started to create some real friction just under the surface. Okay, and this is the real crux of the problem. He had this major realization. The creative energy he was pouring into the podcast, it was the exact same energy he needed for his #1 passion, making music. One was literally draining the battery for the other. And yeah, you can see the two competing forces laid out perfectly here. On one side, you've got the podcast, which, was great, but it took up a ton of time and energy. And on the other side, the music. The writing, the producing, the experimenting, what he called the heart of it all. You can almost feel that tug of war happening. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? He felt this really powerful, undeniable pull to get back to what started everything in the first place, simply making music. So, with that internal struggle becoming impossible to ignore, we get to the turning point, the moment he knew something had to change. Now, it wasn't just the energy drain. There was another piece to this puzzle. The show had found an audience for sure. A small but really steady group. But that was kind of it. It had hit a plateau and just wasn't growing anymore. And this is so important. He decided that was okay. It wasn't a failure. It was just a fact. He came to accept that the project found the people it was meant to find, and that was enough. It was a real moment of acceptance, not feeling let down. Which of course brings us to the big question, one that I'm sure a lot of you have faced. When you hit a point like that, what do? Do you keep pushing and try to force it forward, or is it smarter to just take a step back? And here's the philosophy that really guided his decision. He didn't see it as giving up, not at all. He saw it as reaching a natural point of pause. He realized that sometimes pushing harder isn't the answer. The best move is just to let it rest. But listen, this wasn't about ending things. This next part is all about what that pause really means. It's not a full stop. It's more like a quiet, necessary transition. And he was really clear with his listeners about this. This wasn't a goodbye. It was something else, something much more intentional. I just love this way of putting it. He called the hiatus the space between songs. So it's not nothingness, right? It's an active, quiet moment. It's a chance to breathe, to really listen, and to just see what wants to happen next. It's like a productive kind of silence. So what's next? Well, that's the thing. It's totally open-ended. Maybe the show comes back just as it was. Maybe it turns into something completely new. Who knows? The main focus right now is just giving the music that room to grow. And, importantly, all the old episodes are still out there, like little creative snapshots you can go back to. And that leaves us with a really big question to think about, doesn't it? We live in this culture of go, 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 right? The constant hustle. But this story asks us to wonder, when is hitting pause not about quitting? When is it actually the most creative thing you can possibly do?